If you do not learn these mistakes when it comes to money, you will stay broke. You will work tireless hours. You will work harder than you have to, and you will feel like you are never getting ahead. You will be on the hamster wheel of life, working, but not progressing anywhere. It's like Warren Buffett said, if you don't learn how to make money while you sleep, you will end up working for money until the day you die. All right, what's going on, guys? Back to another episode of the Stephan Show. And today we are going over some of the biggest mistakes when it comes to money that are keeping you broke. And when I was really thinking about this, I want to add practical value to where you're at today. And we always talk about 3 rules to money. There's how to make money, how to get money, right? How to attract money, how to protect money, and then how to multiply money. And today we're really going to talk about how to get, but how to protect money, because I think that's overlooked. You know, Nick, it's like if you make $1 million a year, but you spend $2 million a year, you're never going to get ahead. Mike Tyson, I use this example all the time. Mike Tyson made $500 million. Like, dude, what would you do with $500 million?
I haven't put much thought into it yet.
Right? Like, wow. Like, how much could you blow that on? I mean, I think even if I tried like really hard, how expensive could I make my lifestyle? Like, if I had like 3 houses, I guess my wife and I's goal, we want a nice, beautiful house in Newport Beach, California. How could I spend more than like $200 grand a month? And that's like pushing it. Like, you can go get every Ferrari you want. You can go get every Lambo you want. You can have like 4 houses, 5 houses. At a certain point, you're like, why do I want another house, right? How do you lose $500 million?
People do it.
People do it. He did it. I mean, tigers and stuff. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat. Too many Vegas trips. But this is about how to protect your money. These are money mistakes I had to learn on my own. I had to overcome, and I had to implement to build not only a very successful coaching business that made money, but definitely a real estate business. Here's something else too. Everyone wants to go right to real estate. If you can, and I say this to my students all the time, if you can't learn how to manage your own money, no bank is going to give you a loan to manage theirs. Because when you go buy real estate, you are using the bank's money. People don't appreciate or really understand that when you go to buy real estate, you are using 80, 75, 70% of the bank's money. So the first thing they look at is, how do you manage your own money, right? If you make $1 and spend $2, you're never going to get, no one's going to ever lend you money. I've learned this crazy thing when it comes to lending money from the banks. They lend the best money, like the best terms, the best interest rates to the people who need it the least. Those who are horrible with money and don't have money, they will give you the worst terms.
I'm driving on my way over here, and I've been thinking a lot about my life goals, and I've been trying to figure out and calculate, like, how much money do I need personally? So, I'm asking you, how do you figure out how much money you need in life?
Is the channel inspiring you, dude? Is the content inspiring you?
It is inspiring me, Tony. Dude, yeah, I appreciate you, man.
2 weeks into it, we're killing it, man. All right. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people to think bigger. How much lifestyle do you want? What lifestyle do you want for you and your family? But understand there's earned income and there's passive income. I quickly learned, full transparency, our best month ever, we did about $260,000 in a month. Like, when I started my business, my goal was to make $4 grand a month. So it can escalate and can grow very, very quickly. I quickly learned, though, the more money you make, the more you tend to spend. There's like a direct correlation with that, right? And I quickly learned working for money will only get you to go so far. So you have to get money to work for you. So what lifestyle do you want to live? Right? And this is like my first tip when it comes to things that will keep you broke. You have to set goals when it comes to money. But if you're married or in a relationship, you have to do it with your partner. You cannot do this alone. From the very early onsets of wanting to start my business, quitting my job, all that, my wife and I sat down and we talked about money before she was even my wife. Guys, write this down. The wrong person will destroy you in business. The person you choose to spend your life with is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make in your business. If you guys don't see eye to eye on the furniture of the house, it's all good. If you don't see eye to eye on the food you guys like, it's all good. If you don't see eye to eye on money, you're fucked. Simply put. So you have to set financial goals with your partner, but you also have to set a financial budget with your partner, and you need to review the budget monthly because the budget might change monthly, right? That's a big thing. People are like, oh, I set a budget. Do you review it monthly? Because like my wife and I are going to California tomorrow. We're traveling to run a mastermind. Budget's going to change. Birthdays, budget's going to change. Christmas is going to change. So you have to get comfortable talking about money. And if you're a saver and you're an investor and your partner's like, I don't agree why you're doing that, get a new partner. I'm serious. If you guys, I can't say it enough, man. When I quit my job, I'm like, hey, Andrea, I'm going to hire this guy named Bedros. He's in California. I've never met him, but trust me, it's going to work out. I'm going to take all the money I have and put the rest on a credit card. She was like, are you oh, let's do it. I got you. And then when I quit my job, she's like, I got you. I'm a school teacher. I don't make much money, but she made enough to like cover the mortgage of the house I bought. And she's like, I got you. Got to be on board with that. We would set these budgets. Like we wouldn't go spend money. We wouldn't go out to eat. We wouldn't go do those things, right? She'd go to Costco and she'd have her budget and she'd go buy the food that fit in the budget. Budgets only work if you stick to them. The old expression, motivation gets you started, discipline keeps you going forward. So you have to have the right person in your life. If they're a, what's it called, retail therapy person, if when they're having a bad day, you work harder and you go to the gym and you work on yourself and they go to freaking Louis Vuitton, you're screwed. And let's just go on another tangent real quick. You guys ever go to the mall and see the line at Louis Vuitton or Gucci? What the f- are you doing? Like, what are you guys doing? Like 11 o'clock on a Friday, people like lined up outside the door for Louis Vuitton and Gucci. What are you doing? The wealthiest people I've ever been around, they don't wear Louis Vuitton. They don't wear Gucci. They wear shit that makes them like look like they're homeless. Essentially, it's like $5 stuff. Even when it comes to cars and all that, they don't get impressed by that. You know who gets impressed by cars and Louis and Gucci? Broke people. I hate to say it from my experience of what I've seen. The ultra wealthy, like I took my car. I have a nice car. I took my car to meet with this gentleman who owns 4,000 units of real estate, syndicator, so he owns a percentage of that, but his net worth is bigger than mine. And I pulled up in this car because I wanted to impress him, set a good impression. And he like looked at it, he's like, oh, cool car. It doesn't matter to these people because when you have so much money to go get whatever you want, they're not impressed by your freaking $500 belt buckle. They're impressed by your asset column, your asset sheet. So just a tangent. I'm a big believer in looking good. Like I've got nice clothes. I know how to dress properly, right? And setting a good impression, but what's your asset column? Your asset column is the ultimate flex. People on Instagram talk about flex and capping, right? And bussing. You know what the ultimate flex is? Your asset column. Like we're going to go after this. We're going to go pull up to an apartment building that I bought for 1.8 million. It's going to get appraised for 2.8 million. That's fucking flex. You're not your Balenciaga. I don't even know what a Balenciaga is, but not your Balenciaga. So I kind of hit 2 points there. Number one, you got to talk about money on your partner. And number two, like Nick was asking, you have to have crystal clear clarity. CCC, write that down. Crystal clear clarity. How much money do I want? What lifestyle do I want? And what am I going to do to get there? Let's talk about that too. And we kind of talked about this in our other episode, but you can't say I want $1 million per year of income, but you're not able to do the work. So understand, there's like, I've always said this, there's a price tag with levels of success. If you want to make 100 grand a year, there's a price tag to that. If you want to make $1 million a year, there's a price tag to that. 10 million. I've never made 10 million in a year, but I'm sure there's a price tag to it. Elon Musk level of income, there's a bigger price tag for that. Look at him. He's hated. He's loved. He's all in the news. There's a price tag to that. What are you willing to pay in exchange to get to that goal? But you have to have crystal clear clarity. And you have to also be aware, and this is what we talk about, like tracking your net worth and your budget and all that. How much money am I bringing in every month? But how much am I spending? How much are we saving? You should have a saving goal every single month, every single year, as you are just getting up and getting started. Even now, my wife and I know exactly like how much we need to make every single month in my business and how much we need for the real estate business to produce. If not, you will go broke. You could make any dollar amount in the world if you don't have crystal clear clarity, how much you're making, how much you're spending, and how much you want to make. You have no idea where you're going. Like your goal in life can't just be to make more money. That was me. Like when I started my business was, what's your goal? Make more money. How do you know if you're going to get there? How do you know? You might already be there. How do you know if you're going to get to the target if you don't even know what the target is? So start with the target in mind. My goal then when I was like, all right, building my business, I'm like, all right, I want to make $1 million in a year. Then when I got to that, I was like, next goal. But you have to have targets. You have to have the clarity of where you're going.
So what would you tell the people out there that aren't making enough? What would you suggest for them to go and make more money?
Next thing that's keeping you broke is you just don't make enough money. Look, you can only squeeze so much blood from a rock. If I make 30 grand a year, it's impossible to get ahead. Look, you can't budget and get your way ahead. People talk about this, right? I don't spend money on like I see the YouTubers, right? And they're like, I only go to Starbucks on my birthday. Dude, that's stupid. If you like coffee, if this is keeping you broke, $4.98, you don't have a savings problem. You have an income problem. You have an earned income problem. Shout out Starbucks, support the channel, sponsor us. You have an earned income problem. You can't save your way to wealth. You can't make $1 and spend $2. But if you're only making 30, 40, 50, dude, I'm gonna even blow your mind. $1 million isn't enough anymore. Like coming up, I remember watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Regis Philbin. You ever watch that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, God,
$1 million.
They make $1 million. I'm like, they are set for life. They're buying beaches. They're buying Rolls Royces. They're saying F you to their boss. Dude, $1 million per year, you're broke. You're broke with inflation. And if you take a 5% dividend on that, so that means 50 grand a year. So you're a millionaire on paper. You're going to live on 50 grand per year before taxes. You're broke. You're broke. You can't afford to live with that. So I'm not saying this to offend anybody, okay? Not saying this to offend anybody. Be very budget conscious in the beginning, but then at a certain point, you have to understand you can only squeeze so much blood from a rock. Like my wife and I quickly understood. She was a school teacher. She had a master's degree in special education. She made 40 grand a year, bro, before taxes. You can't, like, literally can't afford to live. I was a registered dietitian. If I had went the clinical route, I would have made 45 grand a year. So you put us together, we're barely getting by. And this is the problem today. People are coming out of school with these fancy degrees in education and $50, $60, $70, $80,000 in debt. They'll never dig out. They'll never dig out. You will literally work to the day you die. So you have to create a skill set. I'm a big believer in formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. What can you cannot, if you're in your 20s and 30s and you're trying to get ahead and you're like, all right, yeah, I only make 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 grand per year before tax, you got to do something else. At the end of the day, you can live in your parents' basement your whole life and never buy Starbucks and never go out to eat and all that. I hate to say it, what a lousy existence, unless you just don't care about these things. But I think we're put on earth to thrive, not just to survive, right? We're not put on freaking earth to sit back, to grovel about money, to never experience the finer things. The world's beautiful, man. God created a beautiful world. I've had small tastes of really, really, like we talk about millionaire experiences, right? You should sit in first class. I don't miss being like hobbled to the back and like sat in the freaking middle on the Spirit flights. I like Delta first class, right? But we pay the price to get there because I built a skill set. I quickly realized formal education wasn't enough to get us there. And we built skill sets that produce high levels of income. So what side hustle can you start? What business can you start? Again, if you're listening to this and you're in the medical or fitness space, start a coaching business. Let us help you. Let us teach you how to do that, because you can make we have students making anywhere from $2,000 to $30,000 per month side income while keeping their W-2 job. Does your life change if you make, let's even just put that in the middle. Does your life change if you make an extra 15 grand a month? Of course. Can you save more with that? Of course. Can you invest more with that? Of course. Can you get more ahead with that? Of course. But you can only get so much from your salary. And if you're in a field, here's something else I'm going to challenge you with. If you're in a field to where they limit you based on your hours worked, get in a field like sales. Sales changed my life. I'm a salesperson. Technically, I'm a registered dietitian. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a real estate investor, but I'm a fucking salesperson, and I say it proudly.
Do you think anybody can learn sales?
Yeah, a monkey can learn sales, but you have to want to learn sales. Sales is about service. Sales is about solving a problem. Anyone can learn sales. Sales is about creating a win-win, but it starts with your mindset. Where focus goes, energy flows. And I'll tell you this, if you only see yourself as broke, and don't be one of these people who say, I'm cheap. Well, I'm just cheap. Well, no, then guess what? Your life's going to be cheap. Your life's going to be crap. You will speak into existence what your reality will be. When I was dirt poor broke, I said I'm wealthy. I said I'm successful. When I was in my dad's filthy basement with filth and just like, I used to put trash bags over the walls because we didn't even have windows. We just had these like little cylinder block freaking things because it's a Midwest basement. I saw success. You have to see it before you achieve it. You will attract what you put out there. So if you say I'm cheap, guess what? You're going to attract cheap things into your life. If you say I'm broke, I don't have the money, you will attract cheap things in your life. Like I talked to someone the other day, she's like, well, I'm a single mother, I can't afford it. If you say that, that is your reality. People don't realize you're not your circumstances, you are your words, your thoughts, and your actions. I'll say that again. You are not your circumstances, you are your thoughts, your words, your beliefs, and your actions. So your big problem with money is you're not making enough of it and you don't believe you can make enough with it. Get out of the 9 to 5, just show up method, write the salary, write this down. A salary is a drug they give you to give up on your dreams. A salary is a drug. It's a drug to make you feel safe, secure, and complacent. That's it. I show up, I know I get paid. I'm barely getting by. I'm thriving. I'm not surviving. But you know what? It's easy. So do you want easy? Do you want comfort? Or do you want success and wealth? Because guess what? Building wealth and building an empire, I don't sleep well at night. But I'm not trying to sleep well at night. I'm trying to build an empire. I'm trying to make my kids wealthy. I'm trying to let my kids never go through what I went through. I don't want my kids to wake up and say, are we going to lose our house today? I don't want that. I don't want them to go to the grocery store with like an EBT bridge card. I don't want that for them. So I have to lose sleep to get there. So you got to realize you got to get ahead. And even with that, what can I do to earn extra income? What can I do to get out of a salary and into sales, you don't want show up based income. Like I get paid for 8 hours to show up. You want performance based income. All right. My next point here, guys, let me know, is this valuable? Leave us a comment, leave us a 5-star review. If you're enjoying this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and support us as we're making this. So my next point is you are using bad debt to keep you broke. I talk a lot about debt. I talk about how debt has grown our wealth, how we use debt to go buy real estate. I have never, besides my business coach, I've never used credit card debt. That was it. I've only used debt to buy an asset. And this is one of my other points, is you're not leveraging the bank's money. So we can kind of combine this here, these 2 points. You have bad debt and you're not using good debt. So let's just go over the difference really quick. Bad debt is taking money out of my house, right? The house we're in right now, and going and buying a vacation for my kids, my family, whatever, my fiance. Back to being on the same page with money with your partner, right? You will never borrow money to go buy a liability. A liability is anything you pay for. You will never go into credit card debt to furnish your home. That is stupid, stupid, stupid. I sound like Dave Ramsey. And like I said, I get it. I want those things too. Nick and I were just talking about these stupid chairs. They're really nice. They're really fancy and they get scratched all up whether you touch them or not. I like these things too, but I did not finance this. If you have to finance it, if it's not an asset, you can't afford it, period. If you have to finance it, you can't afford it, meaning how you pay for it, right? So like my car is financed, but I don't pay for it. My passive income from my portfolio pays for it. That's the difference of it. You have to be very careful with debt. Debt is like a two-edged sword. It can work for you. It can cut for you. It can move you forward, or it can cut you and hurt you. So never take out money to go buy liabilities. Only take out money, use the bank's money. This is another thing keeping you broke. If you're trying to buy assets in all cash, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't go buy a piece of real estate with all cash. Leverage. I was just listening to another podcast. I don't really listen to them often. Barbara Cohen from Shark Tank, one of the biggest moguls in real estate. She said, I leveraged over and over and over as much as I could to grow. Because when you combine your money with the bank's money, you grow. Smart debt will build you wealth. It will get you out of being broke, but you have to understand how it works and you have to respect debt. You know, a lot of people say debt is good. Debt is good. It can be good, can be bad. Too much of anything can kill you. You got to be careful, right? You got to be careful with anything. So don't fear debt if you trust the asset you're investing into. Don't be debt free. I'm not debt free. I have no consumer debt. Consumer debt is buying crap, buying things, buying items. I have real estate debt, but that real estate debt is covered by cash flow. All of my debt is paid for by other people's money, by the rent, the income that comes in to pay for that. Anytime I borrow money to go buy something that doesn't make, if I borrow $1, I better be investing in something that at least makes me $1.20 back. And that's the rule with commercial real estate. If you're borrowing $1 of their money, that business you're investing into, that apartment building, better make $1.20 back. That's what's called debt service coverage ratio. So that's a very important point. So they won't lend it to you if it doesn't make you, but they will. Isn't this messed up? Because I'm convinced society wants to keep you broke. The banks want to keep you broke. The banks love debtors. But if you learn the game by watching our content, you learn how to do this. The bank will lend you personal debt to go buy whatever you want. But if you take business debt, which is what we do, to go buy an apartment, they say for every $1 you're borrowing, it needs to at least make $1.20 back, or else we won't lend to you. Figure that one out. But you can go get a personal line of credit and go put freaking restoration hardware furniture on there, freaking trips to Hawaii, Honolulu. You can go do whatever. You can go get a second mortgage against your house and go buy all the dumb crap you want. They won't stop you until you can't repay it. But to go get a business loan, they say it has to meet these requirements. What do you think? Which way does society want you to go? So you got to be smarter. You got to be smarter than that. Assets over liabilities.
So Tony, what's this crap thing you're talking about?
So one of our final points here as we're wrapping up, this is what will keep you broke as well. Your cash rich, asset poor. You've got money in the bank, but money in the bank is losing money due to inflation. So what you need to do is turn your hard-earned money into income-producing assets. Notice what I said, income-producing assets. I don't want a gold bar. What's a gold bar going to do for me? How am I getting value today from that asset? Sure, it's hedging against inflation. Okay, that's why I'm not into cryptocurrency. What value do I get today from cryptocurrency? Unless sure, you can trade up, but that's gambling. You are gambling with cryptocurrency. I'm sorry, because you don't know. there's no technical analysis with it. It's still so brand new. Stocks are a little bit different because some stocks pay dividends, which is really good. But even that, you're educated gambling. It is gambling because you have to know it. And I understand there's technical analysis. There's people who really study charts and get it. And that's really powerful. But that's why we like real estate. You can't be cash rich, asset poor. I realized I had $1 million in the bank. It was in like 2020 because I was just saving and saving and saving. I realized I'm cash rich, asset poor. This $1 million is not working for me. You need money. People who say cash is king. Cash is king, but you need to turn cash into cash flow. Which brings me to my final point is your assets aren't paying you today. You've got the 401k, but dude, how is that helping you today? How is that helping you today? And people don't get it. This isn't a lecture on 401k, but people don't get it. You're deferring tax today by investing in a 401k to just pay tax later on at a higher tax bracket when you start to take that out. You don't realize that. If I'm making 100 grand today and then I accumulate whatever 3 million in my 401k, depending how much I take out. And not only that, you're assuming tax rates are going to stay the same. What if tax brackets historically done over time? Gone up, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. They go up. So you're saying I'm deferring paying my tax today at a 30% tax bracket to maybe be paying at a 39% tax bracket in the future. While also, what else is going to go up? Inflation. So that money's being devalued over time anyways. All for this perceived benefit when I hit age 65. The only time I would tell you a 401k makes perfect sense is if there's a match. If you put in 10 grand and your company puts in 10 grand, because that's free money. So definitely take advantage of that. Definitely take advantage of that. One of the biggest mistakes with money is if you are investing your money, you're not getting benefit today. You have my whole goal when I invest money, how soon can I get my money back? So when I buy a piece of real estate, after this, we're going to go to an 8 unit that I bought in combination with an 8 unit and a 12 unit. So perfect example. I paid 1.8 million for that. I put 20% down, do the math, right? Of my own money from my business, hard-earned money into an asset, right? That asset pays me a little bit of cash flow every month. So I'm getting some of my money back. Immediately, I got a huge tax benefit for owning that asset. So I got a huge tax write-off from owning that asset due to what's called depreciation. So another way I'm getting benefit today. We're going to it today because we are completing within a year, very quickly, our business plan. We're going to go back to the bank and we'll talk all about this in the video. So if you want to learn more specifically about how to increase the value of real estate, check out the other video. I'm going back to the bank and I think it's worth 2.8 million based on the numbers, not my opinion, the numbers. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to cash out refinance. I'm going to leverage. I'm going to take more debt because it's good debt. And I'm going to take all my money out and then some, and then still keep the property, still keep the asset. That's smart money. Smart money does not sit. Smart money actively works for you. The most wealthiest investors, real estate investors I've ever seen, they don't park their money. They work their money. I spoke to this gentleman the other day. I paid for the 30 minutes with him. Guess how much he's worth, dude? $250 million. You know, he says every day I work my portfolio. He doesn't work out, but he works his portfolio. And I thought that was so powerful. And he even got on me. He's like, why do you have these single family homes from years ago? So you've got equity just in there. So you got to move that equity. I'm like, you're right. So the wealthiest people I've ever met get their money back from their investments. I want to be paid a little bit back over time from cash flow from real estate. And then when I get my big equity buildup, I want to refinance, take all my money out and then some, keep the deal, or I want to sell it, get an even larger chunk, and then roll that into a bigger deal. So how are your assets paying you today? Maybe you are doing a lot of these things, but you have a 401k that's not doing anything for you. What can you do that's better? Maybe you've got a bunch of money in the bank that's not doing anything for you. Maybe you've got stocks that are going up a little bit, losing a little bit, but they're not doing anything for you. I want to be paid every single day for my assets. Every month we get cash flow from the real estate. Every year I get depreciation. I get tax benefits from the real estate. And if we do our job right and we run our business plan properly, every year those properties are going up and up and up in value because we are increasing the income, we're reducing the expenses, we're boosting the NOI. That's the game you need to learn to play with money. All right, guys. So if you enjoyed this episode, let me know. Leave us a comment below. We want to hear from you. We want more insights. We want more comments, good or bad. We don't care. Leave the comment on the video, or if you listen to this on iTunes or Spotify, leave us a 5-star review. Hey, I have 2 things I want to ask from you. Number 1, let me know what was your biggest takeaway? What point resonated the most, or what question do you have? Leave a comment, send us an email, send me a DM. And number 2, if you enjoyed this and you want to learn more about this, I want you to get my free book. It's called The New Rules to Financial Freedom. I go in depth into all this. We look at it as a two-part process: how to grow your earned income through a business, through a skill set, and then how to invest into passive income producing assets like real estate. So I want you to get this book for free. It sells for 19 bucks on Amazon. I know a lot of people actually say they go out and buy it. That's cool if you want the hard copy, but I want to help you for free. Click the link below, download the digital copy, start learning this, start creating more financial success and freedom for you and your family. Till next time, we'll talk soon. Thanks.